The following is a presentation of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Student-led, student-centered, student-serving.
And welcome in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans. Alongside with me is the one, the only Ian MacHendrie. Ian, how are we feeling about this rivalry game today? Mead Mavericks, it's going to be a challenge.
Oh, I am pumped, Carly. We're here in Mead's home. Coming into Mead, last year we did catch the win at home, 48-42. Now we come into the 12-2 Mead Mavericks home, trying to snatch a win from the number 2 team in 5A right now. So Mead is looking menacing. But if we catch that win, we'll move our record to 9-4. We did catch the loss to Broomfield, I think, on Tuesday in a rough game there. But we're coming in tonight with a lot of motivation, ready to go. We were talking to Zoe Wittler a little bit. She's excited. She thinks it's going to be a tough matchup, but it's going to be a good game. I
do have some insight, too, from Tuesday's game. As I was talking with some of the varsity players, you know, obviously they weren't happy necessarily with the outcome, but they were happy with the performance. They were happy with how they played. They were happy with, like I said, not the outcome, but just what they brought to the table. I mean, you look at, who did they play, Broomfield?
Broomfield,
Broomfield is terrifying. They play incredible, and that's something that even Zoe Wittler emphasized whenever she was talking to me about this previous Tuesday's game. She was saying it wasn't an easy game. She was like, we came up short, but in the end, we did play exceptionally well, given how skilled the team that they were playing against is. And that's something that she emphasized, you know, not necessarily taking the mentality of the fact that you lost, but taking the mentality that you brought forth everything that you had to the table. And yes, it came up short, but in the rivalry game, it's just food for thought and fuel to just send you to probably soaring heights for this game. As we're going to jump right into your keys. Ian, what are your keys for this game?
My keys for tonight. Last Friday, we were at home. We watched Skyline. Me and Jackson were on the call there. We struggled with our free throws. We could not sink our free throws. Tonight, that is one of my biggest keys. We need to sink those free throws. Essentially free points. That's why they are called free throws. We got to make those points, utilize that opportunity, especially against this team like Mead, who is very strong on the defensive level, which we'll get into that in a moment. Next, like I was talking about defensively, eliminate Maddi Clark. She is a weapon for this team. If you think about our weapons, Zoe Wittler, think about that, but for Mead. She is dominating. She has 13.1 points per game on the year. She leads this team in defensive rebounds with 4.1 a game, has 170 total points on the year. She is a weapon. So we got to lock her down tonight. Cannot let her go off. And then last but not least, do not rush our shots. That's where we struggled again against Skyline. We could have won by probably 80 if we didn't rush our shots. We had some open three-pointers that we just kept letting go too quickly, and then it ultimately cost us some free points. So if we just, you know, relax, you know, it's a lot of nerves. It's a rivalry game in Mead. Just relax, calm down, take your moment, take your shots right, and you'll be all right.
And that's even something that was carried into the mentality for the boys' game, too. I mean, girls won, obviously, against Skyline. Boys won against Skyline. Boys' game was a bit closer-ish.
Yep.
But it's one of those where that mentality of you got to settle your nerves, that's something that both sides, I mean, it can be applicable to both sides, and that's something that I think both teams have to carry with them, because as you put it, rivalry games are always going to be the games where your nerves are super, super jumpy, right? And your nerves are obviously, it's going to be very obvious that you are nervous, and you don't necessarily want to show that to your opponent, because your opponent is probably just as nervous.
Exactly.
But it's really something to have a poker face whenever you're playing in a game with this magnitude.
Yeah, I mean, rivalry games at that are just another level of, you know, competitiveness. We're going to see, I'm expecting to see a lot of, you know, players flying across the court to go get loose balls, and it's just going to be a tight battle, I think, tonight, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun.
We will see. Another one of the funny things, you know, talking on the whole rivalry aspect is, as I was talking around Frederick, there were so many people that have never gone to a single game this season, and tonight is the game that they decided to show up and show out in Freddie gear, and they were like, you know, this is important, and this is important to Frederick because we know what it means.
Yeah, this is a big game.
And I mean, it's going to be a good game.
Mead is one of those games that it's, everyone will show up and show out for that game.
And
it doesn't matter if you're home or away, you will be there. And I believe Frederick's crowd will come in tonight.
And quite frankly, I don't think it necessarily matters the sport either. I mean, you think about the crowds for this basketball game. You think about the crowds for the football games. You think about just how large this mentality is.
Absolutely.
As we are finished with that, Ian, I know you were going to talk about a little bit more before we started this game. Obviously, we have a brief timestamp to do this.
Starters.
Player number 1, Peyton Stone. Player number 3, Hila Rivera. Player number 4, Addie Trojans. Player number 15, May Torres. Player number 23,
We're right in the way. We're absolutely right in the way.
Player number 34, Brinley Westmoreland.
Did you not?
And player number 12, Sydney Flish.
I'll go. How many forces did we need?
Get 5.
5?
And now, with a record of 12 wins and 2 losses, currently ranked, yes, number 2 in 5A. Let's hear it for Mead Mavericks.
Why do I still have the mic?
Player number 12, Peyton Crispin. Player number 14, Addison Rademacher. Player number 20, Emmy Tecu. Player number 22, Lexi Van Dyke. Player number 24, Courtney Wright. And now the starters for the Eagles. Player number 5, she's a sophomore, Izzy Howard. Player number 21, senior, Avery Salter. Player number 22, senior, Haley Gardner. Player number 24, senior, Riley Gallego. Player number 25, senior, Zoe Wittler. Head coach for Jake Hanson. And now the starters, yes, for your Mead Mavericks, player number 2, junior, Weight 23, sophomore, Maddi Clark. Head coach, Mr. Mike Ward.
Good luck tonight.
From the starters, as we were going to talk about, we're going to talk about a little bit more of Ian's keys. Before we jump into that, though, I'd love to point out some of our key players that we were going to obviously talk about all throughout the game. One of them is Izzy Howard, and I think it's honestly very interesting because I think Maddi Clark is comparable to either Zoe Wittler or Izzy Howard, because I mean you look at the stats and Izzy's numbers on the season. She's a sophomore and Maddi Clark is also a sophomore. So these two are sort of in the same boat with, I mean obviously Zoe is a star player, but she also is a senior. This is her last season to spend with her team. And whenever you look at Izzy versus Maddi, you're really looking at two people that are in a very similar position.
Talented shooters. Very good
Definitely
shooters.
so.
Also for Mead, like we were talking about, I don't know if you hit this point yet, but Darby Haley, the senior for Mead, leading that team in three-point shooting. She's made 23 three-pointers on the year. She shoots pretty good
That's pretty darn good.
from beyond the arc, so she is definitely a player to look out for as we are set to get going.
As here's the tip-off. Frederick starting off strong. Frederick will get the ball early on as Salisbury finds Gallegos. Gallegos takes the shot already. A little off the mark as Gardner went up.
And she's going to the line there. That is Gallegos' shot right there. The little hop step drive right to the free throw line, takes the little step back, tries to put up that floater. That is her go-to shot, and she makes a lot of those shots. And like we were talking about earlier about Kaylee Gardner, utilizing that height, getting that board, trying to go back and put that putback up. Just got fouled. She's going to the line now. Can't hit the first one.
Nothing here yet.
We did watch the JV game before this.
We
JV
did.
did come away with the win, so we love to see that.
JV played extremely well.
Yeah,
I mean, we caught glimpses of what our future
Some
varsity
futures,
will look
yeah.
like. Yeah.
Caleb
As Gardner
Butler.
will take the second shot. And still nothing on the board. Mead Mavericks now with control. Howard takes it away. Beelining it. Searching for a teammate. Finds Wittler, who finds Gallegos. It's just a passing game at this point. Nothing open. Mead playing excellent defense underneath the basket as Gallegos finds Salisbury. Salisbury wide open. Takes the shot. Swishes it.
That chemistry right there. Gallegos, Salisbury, they have a great friendship off the court. They just find each other. Salisbury sitting wide open in the corner. Gets the first points for Frederick here tonight.
And I mean, they've been significant pretty much their entire time playing varsity. Those two are pretty much inseparable. I remember talking about them even with Carly TS. If y'all tuned in during those days, me and TS used to do the girls' games, and man, those two were inseparably incredible together.
Yep.
As Mead once again with possession of the ball. Haley, that person you said to watch out for. Looks like that's number 5.
That's Caroline Cron on the three, sitting there wide open in the corner. Absolutely drills that. She's not going to miss that opportunity. That's what I kind of talked about earlier about not rushing her shot. She kind of just sat there, let it off her fingertips right. But I want to go back to that steal by Howard. Frederick, this team has 14.9 steals per game. This team is very good on forcing turnovers. And
I think that's just an emphasis to show how incredible Frederick is, as they're meandering their way back down, and Maddi Clark will tack up a few extra points for the Mead Mavericks. Gallegos' pass.
Little Euro into the lane.
As Howard able to snag the rebound. Howard getting bodied. Oh, you can
Little
sense
jump ball
the
action.
tension.
Yep. The physicality, to get that board down low for Howard and then come in trying to take it down the other way. And then the physicality is going to be key.
Which, I
for
mean,
Mead
even
right now.
physically, you're looking at pretty much two identical people whenever you're comparing Clark and Howard. I just find it highly fascinating, as looks like
Frederick ball.
Looks like that was Caroline Cron, who batted it out. Looked like she was playing volleyball there for a minute.
Flying around on the court.
Wrong sport.
Same gym, wrong court.
Yep. Gallegos will bring it into Howard. Gallegos finds Gardner.
Mead is playing heavy offensive or defensive
They really
press.
are.
Full court press early. This is what we saw from Frederick against Skyline, where Skyline could not advance the ball out of Frederick's half for the entire first quarter. And Mead's going to utilize that right now. And, you know, they have a 3-point lead with 5 minutes to go, about 6 minutes to go. They're going to utilize that.
And, I mean, as you put it, Howard in the corner. She takes the shot. Ugh. Almost a big shot off the backboard as Gardner. Great communication between Wittler and Gardner.
That is that
Those
Zoe.
two are another.
Yep.
Those two are another combo to watch out for.
Wittler cutting down the basket, sees Gardner. She has 4 people around her, and still just off the glass, easy 2 for Gardner right there.
Sneaky little pass back to Haley as Haley maneuvers and will somehow get underneath the basket by herself. Mead now leading 7-4 with a little over 5 minutes left.
Yeah, that's just some good cutting team from Mead. They're utilizing everything down low, and Frederick is struggling to cover that right now.
Yeah, Gallegos even there. I mean, Gallegos' pass to Wittler was just a little high and off the mark, and Wittler felt that, started grimace.
Cron tries to get that 3-pointer. She sunk a wide open one earlier, so might as well try it again.
Might as well. What do you
No.
have to lose right now?
No risk in trying it. Fight for it. Ends up with Frederick getting that inbound.
Gallegos going to bring it in again to Wittler. Pass back to Gallegos. Gallegos finds Salisbury. Salisbury finds Wittler. Wittler finds Howard back in the corner. Howard riding that line.
I do not know how that ball did not
I
end up
do
out of
not
bounds.
know.
That-
Quite frankly, Wittler
Ooh.
tries to intercept the pass. She almost goes down, and Clark will hit the ground.
She's going to the line there.
You can obviously tell, though, there's a sense of respect as both Wittler and Gallegos lift Clark up from the court.
Yeah, I mean,
So obviously these two teams, we always talk about, you know, the competitiveness in the rivalry, but another thing we don't talk about is with the
Respect.
competition comes the respect, because
Yep.
you can respect how incredible these players are and how much they pour their heart and soul into this, as
Howard
that'll be
on the three.
Haley.
Darby, Haley. Like we talked about, I told you, key player. 23 made 3-pointers on the year, now 24.
That was an absolutely
and
lethal
wide
shot.
open.
As I don't know how they kept that in, as that'll be Clark. As she
Stepping.
makes a move on Gallegos, and that was nasty. She put Gallegos to bed.
Frederick has to call a timeout on that one.
You really have to
Yeah,
regroup.
that-
You have to regroup.
that
Right
was-
now, you are struggling
that was-
offensively.
That was ugly. That turnover led into a Maddi Clark, Darby Haley, quick, fast break. And Clark, knowing that she can basically make Gallegos do whatever she wants because she has the control in a 2-on-1 situation.
I mean, it was a marionette situation where you're looking at puppet on a string. She basically, as you put it, molded Gallegos into doing what she expected and just went up. And I mean, another thing that Clark has is a nasty crossover dribble. Just thought I'd add some emphasis.
Yeah, I mean, she fakes the pass, and it's just an easy left-handed layup against Gallegos. Needs to put her arms up there, did not, and that cost her that 2 points there, and Frederick down by 8.
Gallegos brings it back into Wittler. Wittler, we haven't seen or heard much of her yet. Micah Thompson now in the game, who finds Izzy Howard. Izzy,
The nerves are getting there for Frederick right now. You're down 8 in an opposing rival's home court. The nerves are starting to settle in, and Frederick is getting these unnecessary turnovers that are kind of costing them right now and giving Mead the ball right back.
you talked about them having to clean up some of their shots, but one thing that they do have to clean up, it seems, is their passing game. And it's just really off the mark. As never mind, I jinxed it, as Haley absolutely.
Hey, we'll take that jinx all night. Trying to find that back cut down low and just overthrew it and misread by the
By
cutting.
quite the mark, too.
Yeah, misread. as Frederick has
As
numbers.
that was Kron who tried to intercept. Gallegos just doing it herself as she steps up, and what a nasty fall.
That is a charge called on Gallegos. Nasty fall. Gets back up and gets.
Gallegos pulls the shrug, though, because, I mean, there's not much you can do in that situation.
No.
Yes, she went up, but the other girl did just sit there kind of a thing. And there are certain ways that you can sort of move yourself out of the way of danger.
Yeah,
and so, yes, Gallegos might have gotten the charge, but it's one of those where, I don't know, was it really necessary? Honestly, yes, because it shows that Frederick is competitive, and it shows that they are willing to get physical whenever they are down.
Yeah, that was just an excellent play by Mead's defensive player there.
Agreed.
To just Maddi Wright just
As
to
Haley
take
finds the ball. Haley, clean shot.
There's that senior. She's going to come alive already, and
She really
she's
is
dominating.
already. 14-4, Frederick trailing
And a
by
turnover.
10. Clark, Thompson tried to intercept the route, but that'll be Clark who finds Kron. Kron's been another big name already tonight.
Yeah.
Kron
Another
stumbles
senior
out.
there. Yeah, Frederick right now, defensively, have not looked the best. Offensively,
As
lot
what
of
an
turnovers.
interesting call. Sorry to interrupt, but my
nope,
goodness,
turnover.
they
I'm
gave.
not sure what happened there. They gave it to Mead, though.
I mean,
That looked out on Mead, but
yeah,
that's from our perspective up here.
agreed. The refs are the ones who
They
see.
do have the sight line on the court, so you got to give them a little grace.
As Haley getting a little bit physical. Looks like that'll be Gomez now,
Foul
who subbed
called
in.
on Emma Rivera, who is another younger star for Frederick, a sophomore. Or sorry, junior. Sorry, the junior.
Man, you would think she's not in her grade by the way that we had a class with her, Ian.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Come on, as once again, nasty Haley. I don't know
Another-
how she's doing this.
Another three. They are leaving her too open. She's just taking care of business and miscommunication.
And that's exactly what Frederick needs to avoid. You saw the deep ball from Wittler, and it was just not quite there. And that's exactly what they can't have right now, is these costly mistakes where it's a turnover and you're giving it back to them.
No, that's what I was talking about, is defensively.
As
Nope.
Clark goes down, looks
No
like
call.
no call.
Should be Frederick ball. Has some confusion there. Clark thought she got fouled. Whitler didn't do anything because she might have thought she caused the foul.
I don't know. It was smart
Nothing
by both
happened.
of them to just kind of sit there. Yeah, you can
Smart.
tell Clark was trying to go for the call. As Wittler now with the ball.
We got to see
Rivera.
Whitler get going. Whitler's got to get going here.
Agreed. She's the star player to look out for, along with Howard. We've already seen Howard have the ball. Whitler in the corner, getting double teamed, and the ball just gets bopped right out of her hands. But Howard able to recover and as she goes up.
As Howard had.
Don't know how Thompson kept that in. As you were saying, though, rebounds.
Yep. I mean, there, Howard made the wrong read there. I'm going to say it. She had Rivera wide open to her left. She had Whitler cutting under the basket. She decided to take the jumper, the pull-up jumper, hit off the side of the rim, and not quite the look that she probably would have wanted there. Like you said with Thompson, what a job to keep that ball in and keep Frederick on the offensive push here.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. As Clark, you can already tell she's getting grisly with how she plays.
Both teams just chucking the ball away right now.
Completely. As Rivera finds Whitler. Whitler, nobody really covering her until now. Is they're already within Mead territory, who finds
Elena.
Rivera again.
Elena Gomez covered. A travel called on Rivera.
Rivera, I believe that's already 2 calls on Emma for the night, so she really has to watch that. Obviously still early on, which is both good and bad, because it shows, obviously, yeah, you're playing physical, but like to what extent? Because obviously you don't want to foul out.
You got to take a step back
Agreed.
in this situation. With 2 fouls especially, you can't have that. And Mead approaching, you know, the bonus to start getting some free throws.
Yes,
Right now it is turnover central
it really
here
is.
on the Gold Eagle Broadcast Network, as they just keep throwing the ball away. With a minute 33, Frederick runs the simple stack. They learned that back in, I don't know, first year of playing basketball. That's the
Exactly.
most simple inbound play that you can run, and it works to effectively get that ball down the court.
As Rivera will just take the shot herself. Emma Rivera.
Pull-up jumper, gets loose, makes a beautiful play, gets the 2 points for Frederick.
And I mean, you talked about how Howard made the wrong call, as Howard almost grabs it straight from her hands. But Mead will retaliate
Those
with Emmy.
are those small mistakes that cost Frederick points. and Mead got those free points right there.
Which that almost was another mistake, as Rivera almost didn't have possession as she juggled it. Wittler. Looks like that was a travel. I didn't see it. Don't know if I agree with.
She might have lifted that back foot.
Maybe.
I won't lie, but you do get a little gather step there. I think she kind of just went a little too early.
As Maddi Clark, Wittler on the coverage. Clark getting double teamed, looking for anybody open.
I like
Finds
that.
Gomez.
I like that matchup.
I completely agree.
Between
That is
Wittler
the
and
matchup
Clark.
of the night, probably. As somehow scuffle for the ball. Wittler wants it. Looks like
Mead ball.
Mead's ball, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that Clark and Wittler matchup. Those two, like you were talking about, I don't remember if we mentioned it so far, but they kind of have some chemistry, some former teammate.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, from Wittler's.
I do know that they know each other, so it's one of those where I think it makes it more interesting whenever you've either played / know the person, because you know how they play, you know their mannerisms. As Clark
Wittler with a
fumbled forward.
nice smack down on that ball.
Yeah, she swatted it.
Clark
Rivera
was looking for the foul, did not get
way
it.
over the
Oh,
head.
Stone that time.
Came bouncing into the Mead parent section. Not
Yeah.
quite what Rivera wanted.
Mead's student section starting to pile in a little bit.
Yeah.
Our section though, it's pretty big over here. I
It's
like
pretty
this.
impressive.
I like this.
I'm not mad with that. As Clark, Wittler trying to do what she did best last drive and try and swat it away. Clark goes down hard on her head. Hope she's all right. A little slow to get up.
Clark has hit the ground quite a few times.
She's been playing super physical.
very
As she's going to go
physical.
to the line.
Yeah, I mean, there's that matchup again, Wittler and Clark, and like you talked about, it has been a, big thing, especially with this Mead and Frederick, distance between the two schools. You go to either, Coleridge, Thunder Valley, you go to quite a few schools together, and then overall, once you get to high school, you split up. And that's where, the friendships from different sides come to, and you get to see some old faces, got to play against them, and then, after the game, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of.
I didn't realize that Mead had an
Mead had a
anthem
band
for
in
every
here.
time, every time that they.
I like that, low-key.
I know. We should get that. 21-6
Frederick trailing.
after one. As we will be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network for your rival.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you, the next generation, to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
And welcome back in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans. Alongside with me tonight is Ian MacHendrie.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, what's up, what's up?
13
your Frederick Golden Eagles are trailing 21-6. And it hasn't been an ideal start, obviously, for Frederick. We've seen some good looks, but we've also seen a lot of sloppiness, which is what they need to calm down on.
I will say, I have seen this girls' team in this situation many times, and you know what? Their grit and determination gets them back in the game. I'm not really worried right now if you're Frederick. You just got to breathe. You got to relax. You got to just get back to your rhythm, and you'll get back to your game.
As hopefully Gallegos starts us off strong.
Left-hand leg does not go.
Not quite ideal, as this will give Mead the ball back.
Frederick needing to kind of lock in right now. They got to focus on what's in front of them right now, and they're not really doing that.
As little dump off underneath to Wright, who finds Haley. A few passes back. Looks like that's Van Dyke wide open in the corner. Howard fighting for that ball.
Yeah, that's
what a great job of being possessive, too.
I did see a little bit of miscommunication from Frederick's part there, but overall, Howard using the strength, ripping that ball away, getting that offensive board or defensive board, turning it into an offensive push.
Howard almost loses it. As Gallegos was wide open, but Wittler will just take the shot.
She's got to make those kind of opportunities.
Gallegos finds Wittler once again. Wittler tried to go for the shot, but didn't see the look that she wanted. Wittler's frustrated, you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't really had a shot fall yet, but that's a good way to get herself going, get to the line, take some breathers. But that was a nice drive, trying to get the and one, shot it high off the glass. It just bounced around on the rim a little low. It did not fall for her.
Completely agree. As first shot, not what Wittler wanted.
As she couldn't sink the first one. Got the
But
second one.
does sink the second. So 21-7 now.
The thing I see with Wittler when she shoots free throws, she most of the time she makes both, but she'll miss one. But if she misses one, she'll come back and make.
She'll
the
come
other
back and, yeah, I was about to say, I'm not worried with her. As don't know what the call was on Gallegos, obviously
believe
frustrated.
A reaching call there. It's on the floor, no free throws. So not too bad. We'll take that.
Not awful. It could have definitely been worse, as this
Could've
will be
been points.
Haley bringing it back in.
Yeah, like you said with Gallegos and the frustration, I think it's settling in a little bit for
As
Frederick.
as
Sorry.
Stone, I'm
Words
telling
are
you,
hard.
words are hard. As
They
Stone
are.
will sub in for, looks like Gallegos.
A lot of contact up top.
And yeah,
Going to the line. She just tried to come behind, rip the ball over, but got caught up and fell on to her there. Salisbury gets the call. Going to the line is, I think that's Tura. Emi Tuku.
I believe that's Teku.
Teku.
Teku?
Some interesting names here for me.
I know. At first, my
Teku?
brain went to like TCU, and I was like, no, that's
That's
not
the same.
the wrong thing.
That's a college.
Yeah, no, not quite.
Yeah, and then you got to just look at it. But like Teku, Van Dyke.
I know we got Van Dyke up in here. I want two like last names.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I remember talking about her last year. She was pretty
Yeah,
interesting to talk about.
she's a memorable one for sure. As whew, Stone's pass,
Another turnover for Frederick. Gardner goes up,
Gardner
comes down with
fighting right underneath the basket.
I think Frederick needs Gardner in the game because
Oh, they need more of her, honestly. She's one of those where if she sees the rebound, she's going to grab it. She plays aggressively like how Howard plays. As Stone searching finds Rivera. Rivera was looking for a shot. Howard was wide open in the corner. Didn't see her at the time. Definitely a lot of frustration there.
Got
You
it.
saw Howard with her arms out.
Stone,
As Stone takes the shot.
left hand floater coming from the corner, takes it, drives down the right side, and uses the left hand to put the floater up, cutting that lead to 13.
As looks like that'll be Rademacher, another last name.
Ooh.
That's quite interesting as Haley back with it. She has been the threat of the night so far. Rademacher back with it. Searching. Frederick playing excellent defense.
Clark is out for Mead, so
Teku
this is their big opportunity, I think.
back to Haley. This is Mead's proving point. If they can score successfully without having Clark, then you know you're sitting at a comfortable pace. As
Mead's just
found
passing it.
Rademacher.
Frederick's got to tighten up on the defense right now around the perimeter.
Back to Teku. Teku able to find Haley. Haley, no call. And that'll be Frederick's ball.
Good physicality by Wittler. She says, I'm done with this. I'm going to go for the ball. Makes a play, trips her up. Ball rolls right out of bounds. It's going to be Frederick ball.
I mean, hey, if you're Frederick, I would be sick and tired of the games too. They're pretty much running circles around you, and that's not what you want me to do. As Stone searching finds Wittler along the side. Finds Rivera. Rivera, nasty move. Wittler will take the shot. As looks like Wittler was looking for a call. But looks like she didn't get the call, though. That was interesting.
Very interesting
Because that's
look.
very unusual of Wittler to go that shallow, right?
Exactly.
As, I hate to say it, but if there was a call for Wittler and there wasn't a call for that one, that's just a straight
That's just an air ball.
air
right
ball.
there.
So,
Yeah, that's not really in Wittler's genes right there to miss that shot by
no,
that much.
exactly.
But
There
she's
was
going to come out.
definitely probably some contact. Obviously, it wasn't called, and there's nothing you can do whenever it's not
You
called,
just
right?
gotta
It's
play
not
the
like
game.
you can, yeah,
You just gotta play
exactly.
the game. And in that situation, you got to get that board and ultimately try to get that put back, and they did not do that.
Rivera,
Clark has checked back in for Mead.
which is terrifying. As Mead's rowdy crowd
Starting
trying
to
yeah, they're
set
talking
in.
a little smack. As another nasty move, I do have to admit, from Cron. As Cron finds Haley. Haley searching, dumps it back underneath the Clark. Clark underneath the basket. Just does it herself.
That was well cutting basketball by Maddi Clark. She found the opening and ultimately
I don't know
done
how
it.
she found that seam, quite frankly, as Thompson finds Howard. And they got to Howard beforehand.
That is that rushing that shot that I was talking about. Howard had the open lane, made a nice fake.
As
and just
Clark
couldn't
way
do
off
it.
the mark, fighting a little bit underneath. But still, regardless, looks like that's Gomez who was able to take the shot and successfully, I mean, made it look like it was pretty much nothing. Now trailing 26-9, your Golden Eagles.
17-point deficit. Got to find their rhythm.
Thompson up the middle. I don't know
Frederick-
if she was expecting that necessarily. This is another moment where, as you're saying, take a timeout.
You
If you're
have
Coach
to.
Hansen, you have
You
to
have
take
to
a
take a
timeout.
timeout in this situation. Your team is fumbling right now. They need to take a step back, and you take a second. Wittler checked back in the game, though.
As Mead back with it. Haley, they should be terrified of her. They definitely have been.
She's been a very offensive threat.
Completely agree, as Gomez, looks like that was another call possibly on,
That's going to be on Stone, I believe, down
I
low.
believe.
Yeah, this has been, Frederick has not been able to play much defense down low without getting a foul called, and that is partially on them. They have to keep their hands up rather than keep smacking down. Just costing them points right now, and so far Mead has done pretty well shooting free throws so far.
I wish we had the statistic on how many fouls Frederick has versus how many Mead has. I'm sure you could probably ask someone down there. It's a little hard to tell up here, but I bet it would be interesting.
Oh,
As
good
Wittler right over the heads.
Oh,
It
good
doesn't pay
find.
off, though. Oh,
No.
that was frustrating. What a look from Whitler.
Absolutely.
She went over two people's heads. It wasn't even one.
I don't even think she was looking, to be honest. I think she kind of just threw it.
It was a pass back and a half. As Whitler able to get the call on Cron. Now that was what a look from Whitler.
There you go. That's what Zoe starting to enter that takeover mode in the game. If you ever play NBA 2K, you got takeover in your little My Career. She's starting to enter that right now, I think.
We just need
look
like
out for Wittler.
we just need like one play every single game where it's just like what a Whitler and just like name it. A wow.
It's like some Monday Night Football, like when they had the Moss. You got Moss segment before the game. We should have a What a Whittler segment.
I'm telling you, we
That
really
sounds great.
should. As Salisbury getting bodied by Clark, and
Whittler.
don't know how she got that to Whitler. Whitler,
Going to the line. Whittler, like I said, it's going to start playing more physical.
she knows what's at stake though right now, which I think is an important show that she's displaying. Is like, hey, you may be trailing, and even you said you're not necessarily worried. Obviously, you do have to kind of think, if you're Coach Hansen, you got to start coming back, obviously. Like, there was a point where, like, okay, haha, fun and games.
Sinks the first one.
Just saying, down 18 could be worse. As
Haley can't connect on the
looks
three.
like as we are going to go down to the sideline, not necessarily for a huge hit, but we're going to get an audio hit as let's pop down.
Down here on the sideline, this game's been extremely fast-paced to start. The key factor so far has been Mead's defense. They've been locking down Frederick and forced them to move the ball very quickly, and Frederick's been unable to. Kind of a sloppy start, and Frederick's getting, we'll say, outworked. Questionable to see what will happen in the second half. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Mason Shafronic. As
Oh,
what a job by Salisbury.
She said, I'll turn it over, but I'll come back down and make a play. Great hustle by Salisbury. That reminds me of a Russell Westbrook type play.
I can see that.
That was
I can
beautiful.
see that.
Well executed. When we were down there on the audio hit with Mason, Maddi Clark set a three-point there.
No
Gave a
surprise,
20-point win.
unfortunately. 31-10 now. Frederick trailing by more. Salisbury
Loss of footing. trips up. 21-point deficit right now for Frederick.
Which this is unfortunate because right now you're looking at what is maybe a quarter of Frederick's full potential, right? Like there have been so many mistakes. It's honestly starting to look like a Texas Longhorns game whenever everything is at stake. And somehow we keep making penalties as finds Maddi Clark. Clark once again being guarded by Wittler.
Yeah, that's the matchup you have to have in this situation
Finds
right now.
Haley, who dumps it off underneath the Teku. As I don't even know how Gomez got the ball and just did it herself.
That is very physical basketball.
That's the kind of physicality that you want.
Yep, that is nasty. As Frederick, they're just playing sloppy.
As Wittler getting double teamed. Ball almost gets snatched away. As Gallegos takes the shot herself and just a little shy of what they need. We know what they can do. They just have to finish it.
Wittler was sitting in the corner. She wanted the ball. But I think right now it's that who's going to step up mentality. Can Thompson get a shot off?
No, Thompson trips up on the ball. As
it's not been the game.
It's been an unfortunate first half. I mean, you're looking at a 33-10 game.
23-point deficit.
And that's a significant deficit.
Yeah, I mean, I see them not playing their potential right now. Frederick, lot of turnovers. They need to tighten it up a bit.
Well, and the interesting thing is I mean, as I was saying beforehand, like they're playing almost a fourth of their full potential, and that's kind of what you were saying. Is like they are not playing on their A game. They're maybe playing on like their C or D game, and that is no shade whatsoever to Frederick. It's just there have been some sloppy mistakes that if you clean that up, you could match perfectly with Mead's competitive nature and just their athleticism, and that is not what Frederick has been doing tonight.
I agree with that. I don't think Frederick's out of this game.
No, there's still plenty of time left.
2 more quarters to go. Down 23. I think you got to come out of the locker room firing. You got to come out physical.
What's been the biggest comeback this year? Obviously, this is my first girls game that I've done this season. What's the biggest comeback that you and Jackson have seen on the season?
I believe it was a 20-point comeback against, I want to say, Mountain View.
Okay.
And the Twins over there in Mountain View. That game went to overtime. Wittler sealed the game with free throws. But that was a fun game to call. The second half turned up. Wittler went off. I think it was a 20-point deficit, though. I'm not 100% sure, though.
So about this length of deficit.
Somebody in the audience fact check me on that. You can find it on the Golden Eagle broadcast.
Yeah, I was about to say, y'all need to double check if you want.
I'll check my facts here in a minute.
Yeah, but so it sounds like obviously this deficit is not necessarily game sealing, right? I mean, this is something that easily you clean up your act, you start to play a little bit more physical, but up high rather than down low, because we've seen a lot of those low plays where they've ended up getting fouled for it. Yep. And I mean, they almost started sending me to the free throw line for every single foul in that bonus. And so it's one of those where if you clean up your act, if you start playing a little bit higher, and you realize that, hey, you have the assets to bat the ball, you can shut down Maddi Clark. You just have to pair Maddi Clark more with Zoe, and I think Izzy also could be another big asset.
Howard has to step in, I think. Yeah, I think overall this team just has to look a lot better coming out of the second half, but I don't think this game is anywhere near over.
No,
so
definitely not.
Don't go anywhere.
As we will be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Do you want a reliable realtor who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home? Then you can turn to Zadell Realty, and specifically Greg Zadell. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community. Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zadell is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zadell Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zadell Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zadell Realty.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you, the next generation, to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
In Frederick, we believe in rolling up our sleeves, not just for ourselves, but for each other. We believe in playing outside until the stars flicker on and protecting the hallowed ground of childhood. We believe in a lifelong commitment to actions as good as our intentions. We believe in the power of our voices and the obligation of our hearts to form a strong foundation. We believe we are onto something that's worth all we can give it. Here, the life we dream of is ours to create.
I think the future is bright for Frederick. I think we understand our identity and who we are, and we don't want to lose that.
The town is really built on the community of people and how everyone almost treats people like family.
I see an opportunity to have a seat at the table and to show our worth and our value and our undeniable characteristics of being a lovely community that's welcome to all.
Hi, I'm Coach Matt Lloyd. I'm the head football coach at Frederick High School. You're watching the Golden Eagle Broadcasting Network. Golden Eagles, let them fly.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans. Alongside with me is the one, the only Ian MacHendrie.
What's
Ian,
up,
how are we
everybody?
feeling after that first half? We talked about it a little bit briefly before we went to the ad break, but
man. Right now, I'm feeling a little bit of nerves. I won't lie, there's a little bit of nerves in the back of the head, but I think we're okay. We did facts check. We were down 17 against Mountain View. I think it was 6 minutes in the second, then we started coming back.
So, what? This is going to be the biggest deficit then, if they can come back.
I think if
Sorry,
they come
when
back.
they come back.
When they come back.
When they come back.
I think it will be the biggest deficit if they win on GBN.
See, that'll be impressive.
If I'm wrong, don't come at me.
Everybody go attack him.
I don't know. I think this game is, I think we're okay, honestly.
I think so. I mean, I know you expressed, like, yeah, a little bit of nerves. I think that's totally appropriate, though, whenever you're down by this much, right? It's not something to freak out about. It's not something to like cry over spilled milk kind of a thing. But it's definitely something to like keep in the back of your head that, hey, we are trailing.
By a lot.
And we are trailing by a lot.
But
and
we're Frederick.
We are Frederick.
We're from Frederick. We couldn't be prouder.
If
you
can't
hear us,
us,
shout a little louder.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I mean, the rowdy crowd has been loud, so.
Yeah, it's been a lot of
A
parents.
lot of adults.
It's been a lot
yeah.
of parents. But I think we're okay. Well, I think we just got to settle in. We were talking about it at the break during that little halftime moment. We were talking about a little bit of sloppiness. We have played pretty sloppy. A lot of turnovers, a lot of unnecessary plays. That if we just tighten that up, I think we're going to be okay.
Exactly. I think we can match up perfectly with Mead's caliber. And, I mean, it is funny, like, whenever you look at records, right? I mean, Mead being, like, 12-2. I mean, what, they're second in 5A, which is terrifying in itself. But
I believe we are 12.
I think so. Something along those lines. We're not quite top 10 yet. Nope. But it's one of those where you look at the players that we have and the team that we've built, and I feel like they should be happy with the fact that if you look at it from a blank slate perspective, and if you can come back in this game, don't focus on the record, right? I mean, yeah, it would be cool to be 9-4 and bump me down to 12-3, but just focus on the fact that you're building such a community and you're building such a competitive nature for the team that is to come for Frederick.
Yep, absolutely. It's already early. Like I said, Frederick's going to come out firing.
Exactly, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're firing on all cylinders. Hopefully shooting is included in this. Is Clark already back in as wide open in the corner. Not quite the start that we needed, as that was Haley once again, the threat that you said to look out for.
She's just sitting in the corner wide open. You can't give those up.
As Howard, they left her wide open. Zoe Wittler wide open as well. Zoe finds Salisbury. Salisbury searching. Howard wide open pretty much in the corner. Kind of getting covered by number, who is that?
That's 11.
Is that 11? That's right.
Right down there. Yeah, Frederick needs to keep their head up and their eyes open, head on a swivel, head up.
I caught your drift.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry. As Gardner's back in too.
Frederick.
Gallegos finds Wittler. Wittler finds Salisbury in the corner and
can't connect.
Still 36-10.
That's the right look for Frederick right there. They just couldn't finish it. Gardner, I think, needed just to rebound that one a little better.
Agreed.
Okay.
As Gomez has it. Frederick playing a little bit better defensively, but they did leave Clark open, a little too open. As Clark takes it herself. Short, though. Wittler snags the rebound. Clark trailing against Wittler. She is hot on her heels, snapping as Howard was wide open that whole time. And
yeah, she took some contact there. She's cutting and then takes what looked like an elbow.
I hope her head's okay. She kind of had a nasty hit, started covering her eyebrow. So
yeah, that was high. It looked like a shoulder, possibly an elbow, high up elbow. Good play by Howard to fight through it.
Yeah, I could feel that, like, physically, whenever you're like, ugh. Whitler searching, dumps it underneath to Gardner.
Good read there, though, by Mead down low. Elena Gomez knew that's where Wittler wanted to put that ball, and Gomez just put a hand on it, got it out of bounds, though.
As Gallegos tried to create a little bit of separation, but instead Howard, once again, fighting through the adversity, trying to get points. I don't know what's happening right now.
Shots are not falling.
They really are not, as Zoe Wittler takes it herself. Finally bangs the three. This is what Zoe Wittler has been waiting this whole first half for. And now,
flashbacks to Erie's game. I knew that was going in. I knew that was going in.
Hey.
She's sitting in the corner wide open.
I mean, it's kind of obvious. You can feel the energy whenever she takes the shot, and you just know it's right on the money.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sitting in the corner, wide open. She knew she wanted the ball, and corner three has been Wittler. That's
Couldn't
her
see a better look, exactly.
And beautiful shot by Wittler.
As Mead trying to bring it back in, getting double team. Looks like that's Gallegos who puts pressure.
I think that's on Mead. It should be Frederick ball, unless it is on Frederick. It's going to be on Mead.
Yeah, it's going to be on Mead.
I think Gallegos got tugged when she was trying to run the other way. 23-point deficit for Frederick.
Which, as Mead likes to say, which is kind of ironic. You can't do that with a little bit of clapping, so just thought I'd add that in there. Salisbury finds Howard. Howard takes the shot. Is this going to land another three? Not quite.
Good
It was a
fight
little
by
too
Gardner.
far. Salisbury takes a nice spin. Looked like almost a pop in the face.
A lot of contact fighting around. Salisbury flying, Gallegos flying, Wittler flying.
Everybody was flying at that rate. I mean,
Hey, like I said earlier, I think there was going to be a lot of flying bodies on the court tonight.
when pigs fly, except they're dogs, so
I think they're eagles.
I think so. That's
Eagles are
hey,
supposed
yeah,
to
no, I
fly.
like that better. But they are dogs. What can I say?
Salisbury takes the charge. Good job setting her feet there, standing there, and just absolutely made the right read.
I mean, that was impressive.
Mead is playing that high press again. Look out for, Gardner and Howard who are sitting down there. They're wide open.
Gallegos almost took a little bit too much time to find her, as now it left the possibility of that.
Maddi right
Not
with a
able
good
to do
read.
anything with that, yeah.
Good read. Saw Wittler open again. You don't want to leave Wittler open on the three-point line like that. Back
Looks
to
like
that
that's
stack.
Gallegos who finds Salisbury. Salisbury searching. There's pretty much nobody. Frederick is locked
They
down.
gotta be moving a little bit more, I think.
I was about to
if you're
say, they're
Frederick.
kind of sitting ducks right now. You got to move around the court a little bit more as Gallegos.
You got to get that ball in the paint.
Gallegos, nasty move. Short. Gardner tried to snag the rebound, but that was
Just
Clark
slipped.
who ended up coming up with it.
I think that's kind of Gallegos right now. She's shooting a little short on her shots.
I think both Salisbury and Gallegos, they're almost like in sync, but like not in a good way this game. As the ball gets
Whoa!
stuck. That's not every day you see that one.
Oh, the ref making a play. Love to see it. That ref was
Somebody
an athlete.
give props to the ref.
that ref was an athlete one day. I could tell.
Oh, you can already tell.
That was
The whole
Haley
crowd
again on
went
the three.
wild for the ref.
That was beautiful.
Forget the actual shot that like stuck there as Gallegos almost snaps ankles.
I thought-
Salisbury finds Wittler. I thought she really was about to. I thought she was gonna plan her to sleep.
Good play. Oh,
Looked like it touched Wittler on the way out.
that's unfortunate. She does a good play.
I mean, she bounced it off the foot, tried to pin it on Mead, but
did an excellent job of understanding where she was on the court, but that ball just unluckily bounces. That's kind of been all Frederick's, that's kind of just been Frederick today, unlucky. Oh,
as
man.
another shot,
Oh.
and that'll land.
Caitlin Cron.
Whew. I mean,
Sorry,
Cron
Caroline.
and Haley have been absolutely insane this game.
It's been,
Like, really no other way to put it, right?
it's been 3-point central right there. And
Clark messed
Took a
up
tumble.
her ankle, limping a little bit. Don't
Took
know
a-
what she did. Maybe fell on it weird.
took a tumble.
Yeah. It's always hard to tell, too, especially from up here. We might have a good vantage point whenever it comes to seeing the whole court, but sometimes with those, like, minuscule details, it's hard to tell, so.
Yep, exactly.
As Gallegos finds Howard. Howard searching, move around a little bit. Finds Salisbury. Salisbury doing her own bit of searching.
Nobody is in her help area that she needs.
Finds Howard.
Picked it up too early. As these are just the turnovers that we're talking about, these small, minute, little itty-bitty turnovers, just literally lifting your foot instead of dribbling is costing this team right now.
Exactly.
You're down
As
26.
Maddi Clark just does
28.
it herself again. Frustrating outcome for Frederick, 41-13
That
now.
is
Trailing by more, so not ideal, right?
Not at all.
Howard, I don't know, that looked like that was out, but okay.
A lot of contact back there.
To each his own.
Frederick is not, I don't think this is Frederick's ball right now. They are not playing.
No,
To
as
their
Haley
level.
makes a nasty move on Wittler, who dumps it back underneath to right off the mark, trying to pass it. Not
Give it
quite
to
the
Frederick.
ideal location where she wanted to put it. So a little like way over.
Kind of overthrew that one.
I can't even like drop shade though, because like we've struggled with the exact
We have
same
done the
thing.
exact-
We have
yeah.
done the exact same thing.
We have struggled, those small, minute turnovers, the travels and the misread passes to the just not being able to find anybody open. Like that right there.
Like
just
that is
pit-pocketed.
unrealistic, though, of Wittler. That is weird.
Getting pit pocketed. It's the frustration that's putting Frederick in a hole.
Yeah, and I think that whole mentality of a poker face is not playing well for them because I think they're letting their emotions show. As I have no clue in the world how in the world they did that. Cron somehow snags their own shot. Little fight for the ball. Gallegos comes up with it.
Yeah, I mean, steal-wise for Mead, they had 12.1 coming into this game on the year. They're averaging 54.9 points. So they're reaching that number. Frederick at an all-time low, 13 points. I think that's the lowest they've had all year if the game were to end right now.
Which this game is
far from over.
Yes,
but
exactly.
You're starting to get that thought of, if we don't turn up now, we might be in trouble.
Exactly.
Down 28, nearing the end of the third quarter.
And
got to give props to Mead. I mean,
they have played.
Good ball.
I don't think I've seen Frederick shut out quite this much. Then again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. What's the lowest amount of points they put up on the season that you've seen?
This season, I think it's 23, and that was against Broomfield.
Broomfield is, oof.
Last year, from what I think I saw, I think our lowest was probably like under 30, probably about 25-ish range.
So this is
Not
probably
100%.
the lowest I think I've seen, like, in the past while.
But,
like,
you know, they do kind of turn up in the fourth quarter, so hopefully we'll see something out of that.
Which, that's something that the boys team do, too.
They really do. Excited to see that boys game.
That will be another good game.
Coming up next. And Zoe Wittler will jump up here in the booth, so hopefully she can give some insight from down there what she felt. You never like to lose a rivalry game.
No.
Up here.
Yeah.
Especially on their home field. Mead this season overall, though, I mean, not just basketball, but football and soccer.
Oh, I mean,
they have been dominant.
Yeah, no, their athletics have been incredible.
Really good this year. I believe football team went to state, lost, I think, by 3.
As snagged it, Gomez back with it.
Easy.
She does it herself.
Easy
what a
walk
nasty move on Micah Thompson.
She just
Thompson was sort of, I mean, what was it? She stutter-stepped around her and then kind of threw her off her game. As looks like that'll be Haley, who tumbles to the ground. Seems to be all right. Teammates checking in on her just to double check she's all right. That was a lot of checking, but.
Yep. Yeah, no, Mead's athletics this year has been very good. Football, I believe they went to state. Soccer came in to our home, caught the win there. Wrestling, they caught the win.
I mean, hey, I'll never forget Hunter Vickers.
Hunter Vickers with banger.
With his
Me
goal.
and Sergio on the call there. That was a great game. I loved that game.
Salisbury trying to throw him off their game. Finds Stone back behind. Dumps it underneath to Rivera. Rivera goes up. Rivera, the basket is denying them at this point.
Down by 30.
Man.
Ugly, ugly sights for Frederick here.
Agreed. As they have some more new names in. Obviously, Rademacher back. As that'll be Cron. Cron. Don't know how she found that. It was almost a good look from Van Dyke. Another name we haven't heard in a minute. As looks like no call whatsoever.
Little extra tug there at the end.
Yeah.
As Mead's Radicut's letting her hear it.
Stone.
They did call the call there.
Yeah, I was about to say that was
the line.
obvious.
Yep. They're gonna get a. They're just gonna get a late foul there.
Yeah.
As Stone will go to the line. Good physicality though from Stone to fight for that ball.
Agreed.
Just fell a little short.
Stone. See, I'm telling you, it's that whole mentality of I think the basket just hates them. I don't know why. I like
ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie.
Yeah, I mean
it's like Hips Don't Lie by Shakira, but just like Ball Don't Lie. I'm just saying.
Interesting call there. That's pretty interesting. Shout out Ben Blondo. We were listening to Hips Don't Lie in astronomy today. Shout out Ben.
As A little bit of maneuvering from the one and only Kron.
Mead is doing a really good job at moving the ball around right now, setting up that open shot.
Kron, once again,
thankfully
bangs
that
in
one.
and out.
That was a beautiful look from Kron. That was a Steph Curry. Find the three-point line, step back three. Ball goes through a few Mead legs and ends up being Mead ball.
Frederick slipping and sliding on the court. Once again, leaving those corners wide open with Rademacher in the corner.
Well, that's where Mead's been doing well. They got the corners, but they're making everyone huddle to the paint where they've gotten most of their points. They just leave the corners open. That's going to be a foul on Gallegos.
Yeah, I saw that one coming from a mile away as Gomez was trying to snag that ball.
It's physical. It's a physical game right now, and Mead is doing an excellent job of winning the physicality. Ugly, ugly sights here if you're a Frederick fan or a player. Rivera gets a double little steal looking play.
As Gallegos went up. Quite the moment of athleticism and just pretty much hands it off to Kron. Salisbury with the steal. What a job. Takes it right from her hand. She said, this is mine. Give me what's mine.
Got to be careful of time, those 7 seconds.
Rivera somehow kept that in.
Got to get a shot up.
Stone takes the shot.
Gets the call in the corner, though. She's going to the line to shoot 3.
43-14, which not
throws.
ideal, right, as you're entering into the fourth quarter. But Stone at the line.
Hey, she is taking the free throws.
And now, obviously, I mean, they have been in the bonus for a little bit, it seems.
Can't get the first one to fall. Stone seems a little flustered, I think.
I think they all do. I think in all of their own different, like, retrospects, they all seem a little bit flustered.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to set into the point where they're going to start wanting to give up. And that's not Frederick basketball. We don't want to give up.
Agreed.
As Stone is very, very frustrated. She's letting her emotions show right now.
Which is not an ideal thing for sure. Which it's hard to do, though. I can't speak from, like, the personal experience of, like, oh, I've lost/played against a rival team of this caliber. But I can say for a fact, as somebody who has watched all these games, it's one of those where, like, this is a game where if you miss, you feel it, and the whole team feels it. And it hurts. It really does.
It does.
As we are going to be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. Well, it's some matches and that's no good. Listen to smoke before you give it a try. Only you. Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about rigged out life. Nothing very nice on a homeless mind. So if a gorgeous force is what you desire, don't play with matches. Don't play with fire.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Fire.
Back. Brutal.
Welcome back to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. I'm Carly Evans alongside Ian MacHendrie. Ian, what do you think, not necessarily outcome-wise, but what do you think Frederick needs to establish at least this last quarter? Not necessarily maybe pulling through with the win, but what's something that they can hopefully take with them to say, hey, we might have lost by this, like, X amount of points, but how can we take this going forward and bring it into our next game?
I think the one thing they should work to improve on in the fourth quarter, turnovers. You got to eliminate those turnovers. That's where you've struggled a lot. But I think the one thing you take away from this game and say, okay, we didn't play horrible, physicality and, you know, just being physical. I think they've been able to fly around the court. They've been able to fight for jump balls. They've done everything physical that they've needed to do to be in the spot to win the game. You just haven't got the shots to fall. You've gotten some bad turnovers. Overall, that's just not what you want to see, but not too bad from Frederick physicality-wise.
Which sometimes I totally get it, because sometimes it's just not the night to shoot, right? Sometimes it's just like a Butterfinger situation, right? Everybody feels it. Everybody's kind of a little bit off the mark, and it's not necessarily your team is bad. It's just it's an off night, right? Like, it's a real thing.
It's a very off night, and it's kind of strange to have an off night where basically the entire team is
That
off,
is odd, yes.
but doesn't necessarily mean the team played poor. It just means there's some mistakes that they got to tighten up, like that right there. They just keep turning it over. It's
so honestly, I would say those mistakes are probably your biggest thing that you need to focus on.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. If you can eradicate the mistakes, then you can probably narrow this down to maybe, I don't know necessarily which way the pendulum would swing, but a 10-point difference between the two teams.
Oh, I think so for sure. I mean, Mead has played very well shooting the ball, so obviously they're going to be making shots like that, but you get some of those turnovers, and instead of the turnovers, they're points. This is probably a 43-28 score game.
Yeah.
You've got a lot
Maybe even a little bit closer even.
Yep.
As that was quite the flop from Cron.
She took a tumble.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's been not a performance you want to, take lightly.
Yeah, exactly. As a new sub in, Torres now in.
Last year against Mead, as Rivera just can't knock down the booth.
As what a hard tumble that was. Thompson feeling that one. Probably in the elbow. No call, though. Am I correct? Whenever I hear there's no call for anything.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think so. I think that was mostly Thompson just trying to rip it away.
Yeah.
And Mead just let go of the ball. So she did take a tumble there, but it wasn't necessarily a Mead-caused tumble.
Yeah.
Now Frederick trying to run the high press like Mead has been doing all game, but they haven't been able to.
I was going to say, trying to replicate kind of as Gomez shifting. Some fast passing back to Clark, who finds Teku, who finds Van Dyke, who found, looks like that was Rademacher back in the corner. Scuffle for the ball. Looks like tempers flaring.
It looks like that ball got kicked a little bit in there.
Yeah.
And I think that's not, ideal.
No.
But yeah, Frederick just needing to. Yeah, I don't know. Being on the court is something else. It's a different level. Up here, obviously, we're not too happy with the game. And, we're not as frustrated as they are.
No.
Because you got to place yourself in their shoes. Like, frustration, sadness. They got a bunch of emotions going through them right now.
Rightfully so, of course.
Shots aren't falling. You're losing to a rival school. It's been hard.
As
Salisbury letting her emotions show to the ref there.
Yeah, she was not happy about that. I mean, I pretty much saw half the team maybe all flare up at the same time.
She did get bumped out of bounds, but I don't think there's anything against that.
No, not necessarily.
Because she went to go save it, but Salisbury makes that play right back. She's
Salisbury feeling it, feeling the fire. As finally, Emma Rivera will bring this to 43-17.
It goes from Salisbury flaring shoulders, throwing shoulders, till Rivera making that shot, and then now Clark's going to the line for an and one opportunity, as that foul was kind of light.
That was interesting. A little under 6 minutes now to go. The shot will pretty much fall perfectly. That was pretty much nothing but net.
Yeah, it's been rough. And Frederick has not settled into their game, and I don't think they're going to.
Not this late in the game.
Down by 29.
Yeah.
You're not in a situation of being
But
able
you
to.
can also get a little, prissy here towards the end. You can fight back a little bit more, be a little bit more physical, because what do you have to lose kind of a thing.
Exactly.
Except get some of your players and Clark. Oh my gosh, what's she gonna do? She's by herself.
Makes it.
Maddi Clark brings this 48-17.
I think if this was a boys' game, that might have been a dunk.
That would have been a dunk easily.
100%.
I mean, we were watching the boys warm up in between breaks. They were going for the dunks, so I'm sure we're gonna see a few of those.
Oh, definitely.
That'll be entertaining.
You and Zoe have fun with that
Oh,
one.
we will. I will not be mad about that, as Rivera Salisbury found her.
Is ticking.
Rivera getting double teamed, and looks like that was Mead who got the touch last. And pretty much a whole fresh set of
Mead and
players
Frederick.
now. See Emma Hansen, see Addie Strojink. Who else do I see down there? Brindley, Westmoreland.
Yeah, a lot of newer numbers out
Yes.
there. It's
Completely
the
agree.
game where you can get some newer players in, and even Mead has some newer ones in.
As Mead still, whether or not you have your starters in, they're kind of just showing off at this point, right? Like, they know they're going to win. I heard there was a rule, too, for, I forgot which one of the games. I don't know if it was necessarily a rule, but there is like a whole, sportsmanship aspect. We talked
Debacle,
about.
yep.
Yeah.
With the Skyline game, yep.
Yes.
If
you know.
you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly.
There was a little backstory behind that.
I mean, it is interesting, though. I wonder if how often it does get to that point with some of these teams,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Skyline, one of those teams, 100-7 loss
That's
against
rough.
Broomfield, and that's kind of where that talk about of the sportsmanship and
Exactly. Like, is it necessary to
Yep.
put up 100 against a team that you know is
not
not going to do great,
They
right?
were 1-6 going into that game.
Yeah, so obviously probably a little controversial topic for some of the people who actually play, but as once again, another steal from Teku. This is Teku's back-to-back.
Oh, foul called.
Woo!
And she takes the tumble again. Shout out to my girlfriend for that one. Gave me the took a tumble.
Took a tumble.
She will be watching the Broncos, and they'll go down.
Hey, they took a tumble.
They took a tumble. They did, in fact,
They
take
really
a tumble.
did.
Gonna talk about if that would have been a flagrant foul. As was that intentional? And she kind of was charging her head down.
It was a little bit. I'm going to whisper that into the mic because I don't want to jinx it.
They do call, I think, a flagrant on her.
Woo! Oh, as Hansen's shooting fire at the refs. Not happy. I mean, he is
Yeah.
pretty much borderline, pretty much on the court right now. He is still, he's crouched down over the court. Like, I mean, it's Spider-Man stance-esque. We are getting serious. I'm being serious.
Wow, bro is on. He's like a Spider-Man on the ledge there. He's focused.
I mean, I don't blame him with that call.
I would have been furious too. I'm
Yes,
not gonna
exactly.
lie. 37, or sorry, 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Down
I was
by.
like, which game are you talking about?
Not this one, clearly.
I mean, right now, Mead just bullying their way to get
Bully
this ball.
This is bully ball.
Bully ball, I like that.
Over and back.
Yeah.
Mead's rowdy crowd's gonna let Frederick hear it. The boys are gonna have to come play.
Yes.
They are gonna have to come play. They cannot let Mead's ego get up in there. And I mean, I think they have the right to be.
Oh, they have the right to be
definitely have
cocky,
the right.
of course.
Yep. They have dominated all the sports this year.
Torres searching, finds Hansen in the corner. Hansen getting covered. Hansen searching, shifting. Ball almost gets taken away. Shifted looks like a little too far.
Yep. 3:31. Frederick down by 33, I want to say. It looks like, yeah. Ugly, ugly.
I mean, this has pretty much been a shutout.
Hansen tried to get the pass from Strojan. Strojan, a name well known here on GBN.
Yes, we have heard that name.
J.J. Strojan's amazing 53-point record-setting game. As Mead has brought the mascot out. I did not know Mead had a mascot. I'm not going to lie.
They have a mascot?
Apparently.
I did not know that. I mean, they might need to bring out the mascot. This is...
Why does our mascot not come out? What is this? I'm going to have to go talk to student council about that one. That's
good suggestions. All good suggestions.
Yeah, I'm about to hit up student council.
As that ball just roll on right.
I think mascots should start becoming more of a thing in high school sports.
We have hit the running clock moment, too. So this clock will just continue to tick, tick, tick.
Tick, tick,
until
boom.
tick, tick, boom, yep.
And the clock goes gone.
And that will be the game in 2.5 minutes. As, I mean, honestly, I think that those, I don't know, with this running clock, I think that's the death note for Frederick, right? Like, you're looking at, this is it, right?
It's over.
If I had one of those death whistles, I think it would have blown by now. One of those little Aztec death whistles.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to put the nail in the coffin right now. Probably put like the 60th nail in that coffin.
These are all just great ways of saying we're trailing by a
we're
lot.
in trouble.
Yeah.
We're down by a lot.
We're down by a little bit. As that was Rademacher, a name we've heard throughout tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's they have a lot, we have a little.
Yes.
Point wise, yeah, we're
Hansen finds Strojing. Strojing tried to get a look there. Doesn't see anything she likes. Torres searching. And none of the starters are in at this point. Smart, honestly. Obviously, you don't want to risk injury. Yep.
Especially to your main. One of the things I've noticed, Kaylee Gardner hasn't been in the game like at all.
I did notice that. It was very odd. She started pretty much playing full time in the game.
4-6 minutes in the first quarter. Then she came back at the end of halftime, but she sat pretty much the entire second. Been sitting this entire fourth.
As this will send Brynlee Westmoreland to the line. As she sinks it.
She does lead the team in blocks, coming off, the reserve bench.
Westmoreland is a very physical player.
Tall.
You know, I'm good friends with her too. She's a wonderful person on and off the court, right? And she's a great teammate as she sinks both, and that'll bring it to 19 points for Frederick.
Oh, Hansen gets a foul.
Honestly, no surprise. Any person who you're kind of encroaching a little bit on the game and who's playing, right? And as a coach, obviously you want to get in the game, but you don't want to necessarily get in the nitty-gritty of the actual court. So
yeah, we've seen quite a few of those technicals on Frederick coaches.
Yes, we have. Our coaches
sure
like to
Lloyd.
bite back, which
especially on a rivalry game.
Honestly, I don't blame him. Quite
either.
frankly, I would be spitting fire too.
Yeah, it's been rough.
As Van Dyke now with possession, about 45 seconds. So they're going to kind of hold this ball. They're not going to risk anything stupid, right? You have 40 seconds. You're just going to try and contain.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to lose a 40 lead. A 35-point lead.
That would be
30
absurd.
seconds. That'd be crazy. That's a point of
That is a record right there.
That is basically
Forget
2
JJ's
points.
record. We're about to have a new one.
We're going to have a 24-second comeback here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. 20 seconds to go. Frederick down.
So as these 20 seconds wind down, 54-19. I don't think anyone's going to score in this time period, right? Obviously, out of courtesy, I think for Frederick, you don't score here.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot of hate and rival on the court, but right after this, it's going to be the moment of they come together.
They come together. They recognize the strengths. They recognize the weaknesses. Most of all, they recognize the importance of community. And I think that's truly what matters here right now.
Yeah, both teams played a well game. Frederick, some things they want to work on. But overall, not a horrible game.
I completely agree. Not ideal, obviously, if you're Frederick.
Yeah, I mean, basically the entire team off the court in about 2.4 seconds.
Honestly, though, if you're Frederick, this hurts, right? I mean, we talked about, they might have played all right, but as we're going to go down here in a minute, as now we're going to go down to Mason Shafronic on the sideline. Mason.
Down here on the court, Mead will take home a win. Over the last 10 years between Mead and Frederick, Frederick has won 4 out of the last 13. That'll move to 4 and 14 now. The message of that game was Mead's defense. Mead's defense is ruthless, and they'll take the ball from you, and they're all over you. And that's exactly how they play, and that's why they're such a dominant team. They're able to take the ball from Frederick, and they're able to score. That's all we got down here. Back up to you guys.
Thank you so much for that hit, Mason. Looks like, obviously, we still have a little bit of time before the next game.
Biggest takeaways from my perspective from that game. We did not play our ball. Sloppy turnovers. Missed opportunities all around the board. Ugly, ugly performance. But overall, you still could take away strong physicality, strong, mental physicality. I didn't see overall the worst, show of emotions from Frederick, but obviously not the best performance for them tonight.
Completely agree. As looks like for those of you who are tuning in for this one, we are going to have a separate link for the second one.
So tune into that one.
Yeah, we're going to halt on this one here in a minute.
Yeah, join into that one, because that's going to be a good one too. Zoe Wittler, Carly Evans on the call for that one. I'm not leaving yet. Y'all are stuck with me. As just watching these next teams. Yeah, I mean, overall, Frederick, not a great performance. Losing by 35. You just got to focus, head towards next week. And it's just rough. You got to look towards next week. You got Legacy next week, 7-5. You fall to 8-5, so it's a pretty even record next week on Tuesday for Legacy.
All right, well, since we don't technically have a script, we're going to go a little bit off script. This
YOLO.
presentation of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network has been brought to you by our one and only advisor, Mr. Marzing. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the boys' game. That'll happen here in a little bit. So just be prepped for that link to go live here shortly. But thank you all so much for watching. Unfortunate that we did lose this game, but you were saying, Ian, that next week?
Next Tuesday, we will be, I believe, at home against Legacy. We will be broadcasting that one. Tune into that one. Me and Jackson will be back on the call there for the girls' game. Carly and Zoe back on the call in the boys' game.
So yeah, that's us signing out just in a very informal way. So